Hey guys, welcome back to some more Dragonheir. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the top 5 rare heroes that we're seeing a lot of gameplay within this game. Now, overall, guys, I've built out a majority of them. Now, incredibly difficult to get epic heroes, but rare heroes do come pretty easy when it comes to this game. So I want to show you the top ones that I am finding a lot of utility in. Number one, looking at Sigrid. Now, of course, this is probably one of the priority heroes for really a couple different reasons, but I want to run through the skills and abilities of all these heroes. Number one, guys, accuracy by 30% in all battles. As you start making more progression, as you get further stages into this game, accuracy and resistance do come into a major factor, especially for heroes like this that offers a lot of debuffs. So looking here, enemy inflicted with debuffs die, which again, a lot of the bosses do not. This doesn't have quite as an effect as you do in a couple other game modes, but this is really one of the massive ones, guys. Now, this is, of course, a skill that I unfortunately did overlook earlier in this game, and I want to make sure you don't do the same. It is the healing prohibition. So healing is reduced by 100%. That is right. There are a lot of bosses. There's a lot of bigger monsters in this game that do have a healing effect. This will negate it in its entirety, which works incredibly well. Then you couple that with the healing, of course, of the second skill, but the attack penalty. This is the only way when you get to further stages that you can actually keep your tanks alive is a 50% reduction in attack is huge, guys, especially when you have a couple different heroes that you can kind of rotate it between to keep some of the penalties up and making sure that you have the accuracy to keep those penalties up through the entire rotation of the heroes. Now, again, Sigrid, I would absolutely want to 100% build. As you can see, we have it or her maxed out entirely as a support hero, working incredibly well. Now, another one that I use, and I use a considerable amount of time, guys, is Usha. Now, Usha overall has the ability to buff Frost. Now, you'll notice a lot of the affinities or a lot of the elements do go together and kind of overlap. They have an incredible amount of synergy between them, which is the way the game was made. So looking at the ability rate here, max HP by 24%. Again, survivability when it comes to the targets, but this freeze over will give you Frost. Now, Frost is a skill, of course, unique to our ice heroes, but overall, every second basic attack at an enemy under Frost deals double damage. She is going to have the ability to inflict the Frost. That is going to allow her to essentially deal double damage every second attack, which again is really cool to see. Now, in addition, gains a 300% attack shield and attack up. So not only is she going to have the ability to do that double damage for heroes that are under Frost, but she also is going to be able to increase her attack speed by 50%, dealing double damage with the first skill. And then, of course, the last one, slashes forcefully, dealing cold damage with a 100% chance of inflicting Frost. That is right, guys. She is going to inflict her Frost. The skill deals double damage to enemies inflicted with Frost. So again, you're talking about the ability to buff up the attack, add a shield, do double damage here, and then of course do an incredible amount of damage to heroes that have Frost. Inflicting double damage again makes her a very, very strong rare hero, guys, which is kind of crazy. Now, another one that I did overlook a little bit, that I built up a little bit further, was looking at Eli. This is one, again, that I just recently got. I need to build him up. I've actually focused on one of our lightning heroes, but this is going to be the next one down, guys. And the reason because looking at some of the captain abilities, 18% to all battles for the increased attack, pretty good right there, but this one is focused on poison and the derivative damage of the poison. Again, if you're stacking heroes that offer poison together, this is going to make a really big difference because when you stack it, not only he gives himself, grants attack up for 5 seconds, then shoots a crossbolt at the enemy, dealing 280% attack, poison damage with a 100% chance of inflicting 1 stack of poison. So poison, of course, is going to add up over time. If you have some good haste on here, you're going to be able to actually use this and stack poison on the enemies, which can make a really big difference because then, of course, shoots 3 waves. So when you look at some of the game's modes that have multiple targets, this is going to make a big difference, guys. 3 bolts, each wave dealing 235% attack, poison damage, and then, of course, you can buff this up to be even stronger. adding more damage on top of that. And when you start adding these percentages in, guys, it makes a really big difference. So not only can he buff himself similar to what Usha does, but he also has the ability to stack poison. And then you look at a hero like Furbath, just kind of the combination of going together and kind of fitting these together, doing the poison damage in there can make a big difference. Now, next one we're going to look at, and the one that I have been building up quite a bit, guys, is right here, which is Irena. So overall, this hero effective, super effective when it comes to the Goblin layer and the amount of damage that she actually does through the AoE ability. Looking here, the shielding, so 10% target max HP. Now, I have also seen her, because of the shielding ability, used actually in a bunch of different boss modes, even though she does have some AoE abilities, which we'll look at in just a minute. But for this shielding aspect, because you can see 10% of the target's max HP shield nearest ally for 10 seconds. This effect can trigger every 1 second. That is right, guys, 1.0 second. This effect can trigger, which means she can shield like absolutely crazy. Now you combine that with the chain lightning ability to bounce between enemies, similar to what we have with some of our frost heroes. But the lightning, of course, is going to bounce between enemies. And then this one inflicts the attack penalty. Like I was saying, looking at Singrid, being able to put multiple heroes to kind of combine that attack penalty down means you're not going to take as much damage from a lot of the targets, making, again, a big difference. In addition, this one has a chance of dispelling one buff on them. So again, a lot of the larger bosses that buff up themselves, if you can get the dispelling of the buff, going to make a big difference on here. And I know there's a couple, again, very specific heroes that are kind of built with the affinities, with the factions, that do kind of go together and work in almost perfect harmony together to get rid of buffs, to get rid of shields, to get rid of certain things in different game modes, guys, to make it work incredibly well. And the last one that I look at that I have not had the ability to use is actually Tayo, which is right here. Haven't had the ability to use this hero. Again, this will round out the top 5 that we're looking at with our rare heroes. But overall, guys, again, another massive Captain Aura, 30% attack in all battles. Now, when you look at a majority of the healers, when you look at a lot of the heroes in combat are going to have the ability to buff up, but a lot of the attack rating is going to be on a lot of the support, a lot of the healers, a lot of the abilities that the heroes do possess are going to be triggered by this attack rating. So having the ability to actually buff up this attack rating makes a big difference, guys. Now here, again, a hero that I have not used, but looking at tier lists, looking at a lot of different places, first skill is Mourning. You are actually going to bring up a corpse. So there is going to be an additional target right there. And then this one is going to be the same, guys. Deals necrotic damage to enemies within a range. Summons a corpse for 15 seconds. So you can have multiple corpse up at the same time, from my understanding. And then, of course, the last one sacrifices all the corpse to do higher damage. When you think of stacking the attack rating, and then you stack on some more attack rating on there as the multiplication factor, then you put on gear that, again, is going to stack a lot of the multiplication factor. You put on artifacts on there, again, going to make a huge, huge difference to the amount of heroes or the amount of damage that these heroes are doing. So, all right, guys, so that is going to do it for our video. Again, I wanted to cover the top 5 rare damage dealing heroes that we see in this game and really go through, break them down exactly why they are working effectively and efficiently. So again, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.